Hello, hello, comadres. Welcome to the Moon Report. I am your moon goddess, Marlene, and we have a full moon in Libra. As always, thank you for sharing space with me. Thank you so much for the comadres that joined live. And for those comadres that are watching later, thank you so much always for your support. So we'll get things going with the full moon in Libra. And comadres, this full moon is about growth. It is about maturing and healing. And this moon is asking us, actually demanding from us a lot of things. You may have been feeling intensity because this is an intense full moon. And although there's a lot of positivity for this full moon, it does require a lot from us. And it is for the purposes of healing and growth. So we are being asked in this full moon to really take a look at ourselves primarily. And I know that this is a full moon in Libra, and Libra is all about relationships, and Libra is about bringing balance and harmony into spaces and relationships primarily because it's how we relate to the other. But there is so much energy opposing this full moon in Aries. And that energy is really asking us to take a look at ourselves. This Libra full moon is acting as a mirror, as a self-reflector, if you will. And maybe through the lenses of relationships, maybe certain things are coming up for you or illuminated around relationships, but really to show us how we are growing, how we are maturing. And also, it's important to highlight that Mars is conjuncting the North Node in Gemini. And this is important because Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. So when we look at this conjunction, it is heavily illuminating accelerated growth. Accelerated growth comes with being uncomfortable, because what comes with growth? Growing pains. And this full moon is not absent of those growing pains, comadres. And if you're dealing with something like that right now, it is important for you to face this. No more running. The time is now to face the ugly stuff that is coming back. And I say that because around this moon, maybe certain habits, certain behaviors, maybe even certain beliefs are coming up from the past. And it's really like asking us to make decisions, like matured action towards those things. So this full moon is really asking us to grow up. Grow up. And where in your life, that's going to be showing up for each of us in a different place. Because your natal chart is different from mine and we are all unique. So these themes are coming up in different places, but I'm sure it's coming up through boundaries, through relationships, through looking at yourself in the mirror of these relationships. Now, it's also here to say, be courageous. Aries is courageous. You know, Aries is the warrior, you know, and impulsive sometimes because it's so courageous. So definitely watch that. Definitely watch impulses. Definitely try to bring balance to certain aspects in your life where maybe you're finding yourself to be triggered right now. But in other spaces where you can move forward, this is the time's now. The time is now to at least make the decision. If you're not going to take the action, have it be because you are maturing through the process of taking yourself there. And are you acting in your full, mature, healing, grown-up self at the moment? Because there are a lot of triggers going on. Like I said, it's an intense full moon. Things might have come up to trigger you. People, the world around us, the collective around us, news, things that you may have heard that are going down in, your circles or your family. It could be coming at you in all directions. And you may be doubting yourself as to what to do because the intensity sometimes can get a little bit overwhelming. But I'm here to say, through the light of this full moon, that you are ready. Whatever you think you're not ready for, you're ready. Especially if you have moved through your emotions about it. And you've determined that those things, or the things that you are bringing to your life, or the things that you want to let go of, are either fulfilling or not fulfilling an emotional alignment. So you're ready. And even if you're learning, even if you're experimenting, you're still ready. So it's not about moving through it and moving through it fast. And Aries could make us feel like we need to burn through things. The fire element in Aries is so, it's like a baby. I mean, it's the first sign of the zodiac, so it lacks maturity. So we could tend to maybe react. So where do you not have boundaries? Or where is it that others are stepping on those boundaries? And it's really important to look at that during this full moon, to use the light of that illumination to help you move through boundaries. And remember, this could have been coming up 3 days before the full moon, and it could still come up 3 days after the full moon. So if this is not resonating right now, it could be coming up for you. Or, you may have worked through some of these things. You may have taken the months prior to this to really prepare for this moment, whether you've been aware of it or not. So, allow yourself to learn while you're going through the process. Allow yourself to become wiser as you're learning. Gemini is all about learning. It's all about experimenting. And it's quite okay to decide that you're going to do something if you don't know exactly how it is that you're going to do it or exactly what the steps are. But that decision is important. Another reason why it's important is because we have Saturn helping us through this new moon. And when Saturn is in, positive aspect with things, it works a lot like a guide, like a mentor. Like, hey, you know what, Catherine? I'm going to, guide you through this, because when you move through this, then you're going to be grateful when you come on the other side of that. We may be triggered along the way, definitely, but see if you can move into a space of understanding that the things that are triggering us are not for us to react to them, but to learn from them, to take them in as a healing process, to grow and to mature. When you set these boundaries, you are loving yourself and you're loving others. As a society, I don't know if we're encouraged not to have boundaries, or we're used to people stepping all over them. And especially comadres, us who identify ourselves as women, it could get intense around boundaries for us sometimes. But what I've learned with experience and with teachers teaching me is that boundaries is actually love. It's like we set these terms, we set these conditions to show love and respect to each other. I don't know where we got the impression that because we set boundaries, we are being rude, or we're being, I don't know, egotistical, if you will. But really, for me, boundaries has really opened up a space of love Because once those things are off the table, you can freely have relationships without or minimizing or avoiding those things to come up because you've set the terms, right? You've put your boundaries. So where is it that you can grow in this area? I find this full moon to be very, very helpful. It's come up a lot for me in several aspects of my life. And really, because of analyzing this information, I have been able to create distance between my response and my reaction. And I find it helpful to just take a breath, or 3 or 10, whatever it takes for the energy to shift, for the energy to change. And you can feel that shift inside of you. Once that shift takes place and you've gained some distance between your reaction and your response, then there's room to transform, see if you're coming from the right angle, see if you're saying the right words, or maybe you're too angry and you're not ready to respond. We need to take that into consideration as well, because if you're looking for a fight in this full moon, you're going to find it. If you go into that energy and if you feed that energy of not agreeing, you will have a disagreement. It's all there waiting to happen if you want it to. But if you can find growth and maturity in your response, then it's all right there waiting for you as well, for you to grow. Okay? So what's coming up for healing? And when you answer this question, when you journal this question, what is coming up for healing? Be humble. Share your thoughts if you need to, whether it be journaling or whether it be, maybe after you journal, having somebody that you trust to soundboard this. Have conversations. Share your thoughts with those that are like-minded, with those that will open up a nurturing space for you to work out some of those ideas. Because Gemini is about sharing and learning and sharing truths and actually respecting other people's truths. Like, oh, wow, like we can agree to disagree. And Gemini honors that process. So what is coming up for healing, comadre? And be real honest with yourself where it is that you lack maturity, where it is that you are triggered and are not completely standing in your truth, and what relationships are showing you. What is it, maybe like I said, in a disagreement? What is it about that disagreement? What is it about that relationship? What is it about that conversation that is helping you learn, grow, if maybe you look at it with a different perspective? So that's the main focus. I find this full moon to be quite positive. If we can look at it in the right way and not feed into negative thoughts or negative behaviors, we really have an opportunity here to grow, to heal, to learn. And basically, that's all that we can ask of this life, to help us with change, because it's the one thing that we can count on always, that things will change, things will continue to evolve. And hopefully, as humans, we're evolving with those changes. And it doesn't have to look the same between you and me. Angelique's process is going to look different. Maya's process is going to look different. Janine's process is going to look different. You, comadre, your process is unique to you. But are we being called to step into that process? Absolutely. The time is now. It might not feel like it, and a lot of us have been talking about really the vestiges of Pisces season and how we're still a little bit emo. around certain things, but I promise that the fire is coming. The fire is coming, and next new moon is going to be in Aries. And I'm hoping, betting on it, that Aries is going to bring us a little bit more of that fire so that we can transmute and transform those emotions that are stuck. But start now. Start with this full moon, because full moons are great to release. You know, from the last new moon, what has culminated now to this full moon? And what do you see now? And what's being shown to you now? And then what needs to be released from this full moon so that you can work at minimizing those things and then move into the new moon again. And use that moon magic, that moon energy to help you move through the things you want to release. And this is a good one to do it. So yes, this is about relationships, but remember, this is primarily about you, okay? So use this time wisely, learn, grow, share your ideas, share your thoughts, comadres. And of course, I'm always here to support you. I don't know if you know where to find me. For those of you that don't know me or we haven't chatted, you can find me in social media at The Modern Mystique. You can find me on Facebook at Marlene Menendez, or you can find me at marlenemenendez.com, and there's a nice contact form there where you can ask me any questions. And if you need to get on a call or if you need to chat, there's community here to help you. There is community here to support you. And if it's not me, there is another comadre that I'm sure would be perfect to listen and to give you advice. So have those conversations, comadres. Reach out to each other, okay? And take really, really good care. Big hug.